Hi students, welcome to our subject engineering materials. As we have seen about the phase diagram, ferrous and non-ferrous materials, mechanical properties, testing of materials in the past 4 units. In unit 5 we are seeing about the advanced materials and tools. Regards this unit 5, we have already seen about material, smart materials, ferroelectricity, piezoelectric and optoelectric property in the past lectures. In this lecture, we are going to see about semiconducting behavior of lasers, optical fibers, photoconductivity and superconductivity, nanomaterials synthesis properties and its applications, and biomaterials. And the last part, superalloy, shape memory alloys, material characterization techniques, scanning electron microscopy, transmission electron microscopy and atomic force microscopy, and our content beyond syllabus less weight high strength material, that is carbon fiber property and its application in the next lecture. Yes, semiconducting lasers. Semiconducting laser is very small in size and appearance. It is similar to transistor and has operation like LED, but the output beam has the characteristics of laser light. The material which often used in the laser is a gallium arsenide. Therefore, the semiconductor laser is sometimes called as a gallium arsenide laser. It also called as an injection laser. In reality, a semiconductor laser is a simple semiconductor diode because its active medium is the junction of a forward biased PN diode as shown in the image in the PPT. And also I have pictured a schematic illustration of a gallium arsenide homojunction laser diode. The cleaved surface acts as a reflection mirror where the beam ejects from the diode. And the application and use of semiconducting lasers are, the semiconducting lasers can be pulsed at varying rate and pulse widths. Therefore, this laser is a natural transmitter of digital data. Semiconductor laser is well suited for interface with fiber optic cables used in the communications. The advantages are it is very smaller in size and appearance make them good choice for many applications. From cost point of view, the semiconductor laser are economical. Construction is very simple. No need of mirror. Semiconductor lasers have high efficiency. The low power consumption is also the greatest advantage of this semiconductor laser. And the main disadvantages plays as a, due to its relatively low power production, these lasers are not suited for many typical laser applications. Semiconductor laser is greatly dependent on temperature. Temperature affects greatly the output of the laser. The lasing medium of semiconductor laser is too short and rectangular so that output beam profile has an unusual shape. And the image beam divergence is much greater from 125 to 400 milliradians as compared to all other lasers. The cooling system requirement in some cases may be considered its disadvantages. Now the optical fibers. Optical fiber is a technology associated with data transmission using light pulse traveling along with a long fiber which is usually made of plastic or a glass. Metal wires are preferred for transmission in optical fiber communication as signal travel with fewer damages. Optical fiber is also unaffected by electromagnetic interference. The optical fiber cable uses the application of total internal reflection of a light. As I have seen and given an optical fiber cut section, there a plastic coating with the inside of a cladding along with a core. Within the core, the light rays pass the communication which is transferred inside the cable. The fiber are designed such way that they facilitate the propagation of light along the optical fiber depending on the requirement of power and distance of transmission. A single mode fiber is used for long distance transmission while multi-mode is used for short distance transmission. The outer cladding I have shown in the image, these fibers needs them for better protection. How does an optical fiber works? An fiber optic relay system consists of an following components: a transmitter, optical fiber, optical receiver and optical regenerator. Here the transmitter produces the light signal and encodes them to transmit, and the optical fiber is act as a medium for transmitting the light pulse, that is the signal, and the optical receiver, it receives the transmitter light pulse and decodes them to fit to use, and optical regenerator necessary for long distance transmission to regenerate the low pulsed transmission signals. And the advantages of the optical fiber in communication are: it is very economical and cost effective, and it has very thin in structure and non-flammable, and it consumes very less power, less signal degradation, flexible and lightweight. Now the photoconductivity. Photoconductivity is an optical and electrical phenomenon in which material becomes more electrically conductive due to the absorption of electromagnetic radiation such as visible light, ultraviolet light, infrared light or gamma radiations. So I have shown a schematic diagram of a photoconductive of p-doped and n-doped diode, where the electron diffusion on holes and diffusion force on electrons. And the diagram of the photoconductivity is shown here, where the emitter emits the signal and the photoconductor receives and amplifies the emitted signal in a perfect manner, as I have shown the light intensity emitted from the emitter and the current source generated from the photoconductor. Now the superconductivity. Superconductivity is a set of physical properties observed in certain materials wherein electrical resistance vanishes and from which magnetic flux fields are expelled. Any material exhibiting these properties is called as a superconductor. As I have stated in image, the container which consists of a superconductor which lifts the magnet in a liquid nitrogen. The people call this as the Meissner effect. Nanomaterials. A material which sizes ranges between 1 to 100 nanometer is called as a nanomaterials. These nanomaterials are a chemical substance or a material that are manufactured and used at a very small scale range. Nanomaterials are developed to exhibit novel characteristics compared to same material without a nanoscale features, such as increased in strength, chemical reactivity or conductivity. The principal parameter of nanoparticles are their shape, size, surface characteristics and inner structure. Nanoparticle can be encountered as aerosols like solids or liquids in air, suspensions, solids in liquids, or emulsions, liquids in liquids. In the presence of a certain chemical, properties of nanoparticles may be modified. And the application of nanoparticle is very wide, as I have shown in the image. So the mainly plays over from the first circle: textile, biomedical, healthcare, food technology, agriculture, industrial, electronics, environment, renewable energy. Along with it expands its hands to various versatile application area today life. Now the biomaterial. What is biomaterial? Biomaterial, it is a non-viable substance or combination of substance. In other words, this material is unable to develop, grow or frankly live in a general. That means this substance does not grow, but it lives in a living body to support any part of your body, like the braces in your teeth and the plate which supports your broken legs or your broken spine. And the substance can be naturally or synthetically derived, and it can be a solid or even a liquid. The substance is used to partially or completely replace, generate, repair or augment any of your body part, tissue or organ in terms of structure or functions. And its main function is used to improve or maintain the quality of a life of an individual. And this substance is does not reacts with your living body or living part, like it's not a drug or a chemical substance that has tend to react with your body. Sometimes the term biomaterial is also used to with respect to aesthetics like braces. In general, again, it is any substance that can engineer to interact with biological system for medical purpose, either therapeutic, treat, augment, repair or replace the tissues, as we have discussed in the previous points. And the examples are the metal, ceramics, glass, polymers. These some biomaterials derived from animals are also used as a biomaterial to support your life. Thank you, students. Hope you all got your topics. So the balance part of your fifth unit will be seen in the upcoming lecture. For any queries regarding this topic, please mail me your queries.